Massive amounts of rain falling across mid-Michigan over the last week have left fields waterlogged. In Midland County, 2 dams failed, forcing more than 10,000 people to evacuate and putting fields, homes, and businesses underwater. The governor declared a state of emergency in Midland County in response to what's being called historic 500-year flooding, and is also asking for help from the federal government.
I want to continue to remind people, if you're in an impacted area, please evacuate. This is going to be hard, but we are anticipating several feet of water across this area. And so while we're in the midst of a global pandemic, it's really important that, to the best of our ability, we observe the best practices to keep ourselves and our families safe. We're going to get through this. It is a tough time, to be sure, but we are going to get through this. We know that tough times don't last, but tough people do. We have seen a community come together, and we're going to continue to do that until we get through this crisis.
We farm about 2,000 acres, and I'd say maybe 300 of it is above ground right now. All the rest is underwater. From our farm south, there's probably 5 miles now of solid water. Every crossroad and everything's flooded. We don't have a whole lot of cattle around here. There is some, but they moved them to higher ground and stuff. And we had 500 acres of corn, and I think maybe 80 acres of it is above water right now. Some of it there is right on the river, and that's under about 10 feet of water.
The event that we had here Sunday through Tuesday was an unusual meteorological phenomenon, something referred to as an atmospheric river event, where we get the transport of water vapor from, well, in this case, from the Gulf of Mexico and from the subtropics, hundreds or even thousands of miles up into the Midwest, and funneled and then just dumped out in moderate to heavy rain each hour. Here was what we saw on Sunday and Monday. Michigan was right in the middle of that particular system, and the steering currents in the upper atmosphere were very, very slow, and as a result, this system just sat over the Great Lakes and continually bringing moisture up from the south and raining it out. And it was just we were sort of at the wrong place at the wrong time, I guess is my point.
Right now, we're just hoping that the water seeds, and if we can get the ground to dry out a little bit. We're already getting seed in for replant for corn, but with already knocking on the door of June, we're going to try and get our soybeans in first, what we haven't planted, and then proceed to see if we can replant or not, or what's available. With the bad year last year, pushed out a lot of varieties and stuff, and it's hard to get replant seed right now because we are in a shorter day corn area, and it's 88 to 95 day corn is very, very hard to come by right now.
A tough situation really draws back a lot of memories from last year when we see this kind of rain, and then a forecast for more rain before we're able to get back into the field. So pretty disappointing, but this comes after we had an ample opportunity to get a lot of planting done. We're about 30% ahead of a normal planting progress at this point, or at the end of last week. So we really were optimistic about the scenario that we're in of having acres planted in mostly good conditions. So at this point, we still have some optimism that we can come out of this and do pretty well. I think what 2019 did show us is how strong and how resilient growers can be, and some crops that we wouldn't have expected to make it through the conditions that they had last year. So I think there's some reason to be optimistic yet.